a place of love. We are one Guyana. It's paradise, it's our world.
Yeah, some of we born on the hills, some on the low coastal plains. Plenty rice and sugar cane. Same Guyanese blood in our vein. So make we burn out the hatred, time for erasing. Can't make that destroy. 6 race I share the same space in this 83,000 square miles.
We are one Guyana, a place of peace, a place of love. We are one Guyana, it's paradise, it's our world.
Brother is a brother, no matter which religion is you. Could a Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, Hindu. Sister is a sister, real and true. One big pot of culture brew.
And all of we together could really make this dream come true. Of a brighter Guyana for me and you. Ocean to mountains, hear this tune. Take it cool.
We are one Guyana, a place of peace, a place of love. We are one Guyana, it's paradise, it's our world. My love runs deep like a beautiful rivers for Guyana. Oh, and when we stand as one, mighty like Mount Jerima, for Guyana, for Guyana. Our life would be beautiful, just like Guyana. She's blessed us with her own, just got to embrace her. They say, one and alone can't clap, so let's put our hands together. Give her a standing ovation, this great nation, a little gem of this world, yeah. A place of peace, a place of love. We are one Guyana, it's paradise, it's our world.
We are one Guyana, a place of peace, a place of love. We are one Guyana, it's paradise, it's our
Are we good to go? And I want to say a very good evening to you. Welcome to the Diaspora Connected for tonight. It is certainly a pleasure to have you join us. And if you see me looking down, I'm just trying to share the video at the moment. And this is what I want to encourage you to do also. Share the video, share it on your timeline, send it in a message to your friends, and invite your friends to join us here on the Diaspora Connected. Of course, my name is Ossie Rodgers, and we've got a few things to talk about tonight. Looking forward also to taking your calls and having a very interactive program with you tonight. So please share the video. Let me first of all say hello to some people. Hello to Sheik, hello to Soma, hello to Davika, Dexter Walters say I'm just dumb to represent the PPP. We're not gonna follow up those people. Yeah, Dexter, thank you very much, buddy. Hello to Feroz, hello to Dennis Mohabir, hello to Shakira, hello to Pam, hello to Shirley, hello to Mala, hello to Normala, Suresh, Victor, Pamela Gaideen, of course my sister Gypsy Prasad, Maggie, Priya, Sundar, Merlin Boyce, Philip Diabru. Oh my God, so many people. We're happy that you guys are joining us. From time to time, I will be acknowledging you guys, of course. Our telephone numbers on the screen, is it? You'll have our telephone number also. Our technical guy is going to put that up for you. Let me also say hello to our friends here at Sky TV, our technical guys at Sky TV. Good job as always. Good job to our friends over there at the Guyanese Critic platform and Daybreak News. Hello also to our friends over there in Canada in on Caribbean Showtime. Of course, we're streaming live there also. And thank you very much for tuning in. And we look forward to an interactive program with you as always. The telephone number's on there. Listen, you can add us also for those of you in Guyana. You can add us also and on WhatsApp so that you can. It doesn't have to be a long distance call for you. We're looking forward to talking to you also. Hello to Claire. Hello to Debbie. Hello to Wayne Prasad. Hello to Mina Budram, Rohan, Rohit, Gavin, Ravi Prasad, Faye, Ramnarayan Singh, Sita Nandalal, Soma Bypath, Shirley Mangro. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. Please make sure you share the video on your timeline and invite your friends to join us and let us have a very, very interactive program as always. First of all, if you've shared the video, just give us smash the damn emoji. If you share the video, we want to say thank you very much to you. First issue: where is David Arthur Granger? Where's he? Is Mr. Granger so embarrassed of the political party that he once led that he refused to come out and defend this political party in public? That's a question for you. Is Mr. Granger so embarrassed of the level of leadership provided by the political party that he once led that he is so embarrassed that he refused to come out and lend support? Now, it is not it's not normal for a former president to just disappear just like that off of the spotlight, even in a time like this where his political party is in tatters, where his political party is hemorrhaging. It's losing membership left, right, and center. Even their partner, the Alliance for Change, is talking about withdrawing their support or their continuation in the coalition with the PNC. And of course, it has to do with the leadership of the PNC. Has to do with the leadership of the PNC because the PNC, and you can say you heard it here first, the PNC has the worst leadership that it has ever had for a political party. Of course, they had Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, who got most of his training in the PNC. Of course, not the dictatorship type of training. He left the PNC because he was not allowed to practice the type of politics that he wanted to practice in the PNC. So he could not have stayed in the PNC, hence the formation of the he left the PPP. Forbes Burnham left the PPP because the type of politics that he wanted to engage in is not the type of politics that the PPP could have supported at that time. So he left and he formed a political party, and this political party is the PNC, which in its current construct is led by a racist. We don't know if Forbes Burnham was a racist. We don't know if Desmond Hoyt was a racist. We do know that there are WikiLeaks information to suggest that David Arthur Granger was a racist against Indo-Guyanese. That is well documented. It's out there. And also, we've heard that, and it's documented, it's out there. And we know for a fact, based on his Aubrey Norton, I'm talking about now, Little League Norton. We know for a fact, based on his utterances, based on his demeanor, based on witnesses coming forward on their programs and saying that Aubrey Norton is racist. And we know from watching him in the public that he is a die-hard racist. Could you guys imagine Little League Norton ever coming? I mean, it's impossible, but let's just still do it for conversation's sake. Imagine Little League Norton coming close to power, to the helm, to lead our beautiful Guyana, land of six races, a land where people come together and celebrate together, and live together, and work together, and travel together, and enjoy themselves together, where people married outside of their their race and culture, where we have lots of interracial marriages, where for the most part we enjoy our uniqueness as one people, one nation with a common destiny. Of course, they, meaning the PNC, they are not very happy when Guyanese come together and live together and celebrate together. It is for that reason, ladies and gentlemen, that they're still trying to stir that race bucket, that they were somewhat successful in getting their supporters to attack Indo-Guyanese in September 2 years ago on the west coast of Berbice, number 5 village to be exact. They're still trying to stir up that again and to initiate racial violence again. Because today, while I accept and agree that of course the Henry family should be holding a memorial service and remembering their loved one. These are two young men who lost their life. Whatever the situation is, it was documented. There were charges that was laid before the court. Persons were held responsible, and that matter is still before the court. And then we all remember what happened to the brother, But regardless of what, the Henry family, they deserve justice, and they deserve a right to celebrate the life of these two young men who lost their life in the most heinous way. But for a political party, namely the PNC, to hijack the suffering of this family and to turn it into a political spectacle for a political party like the PNC. And of course, we've seen them not only with the Henry boys, but with Quentin Bacchus. They've hijacked the family's sorrow and turned it into a political thing to instigate instigate one race against the other. They've done it on the west coast of Berbice in 2 years ago, and they were successful in instigating their supporters to come out and attack Indo-Guyanese and to turn this thing into a race war. And unfortunately, another Guyanese lost his life, which is Harish Singh, but they don't speak anything about Harish Singh. And you can tell me that that's not racial. You can tell me that that's not racist, because it was 3 young Guyanese that lost their life on the west coast of Berbice during that I won't call it little, and I don't want to downplay it, so let me take back that word. But during that unfortunate time in our history, 3 young boys lost their life. And today, a political party that is aspiring to lead Guyana seek only to remember 2 of them because they're Afro-Guyanese, and completely erase the other one from their recognition or memorial service and motorcade that they held. You can tell me that's not racist. You can tell me that's not racist. Why does political parties not holding a similar or has not held a similar motorcade and memorial service for victims of the Lusignan massacre? I could tell you why, and you can know why also. Because those who suffered in Lusignan were Indo-Guyanese, and the political party, the PNC, does not represent the interests of Indo-Guyanese. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So they would never be. Maybe they'll stick it in during elections time for you to trick some of you, for you to believe that this is a party that believes in one Guyana, but they're not. They believe in one black Guyana. And any other race is supposed to be second class citizens in our beautiful country. But the People's Progressive Party believe in one united Guyana, where every single person, regardless of race, regardless of class, regardless of gender or whatever, once you're Guyanese, full stop. His Excellency the President has made it clear that even Guyanese living outside of Guyana, regardless how long you left, you are entitled, just like every other Guyanese, to reap the fruits of the place of your birth, Guyana. So while they continue to try to divide us, we've got a bigger party with a person with a bigger heart, with members who are members of the PPP who are beating back their racism at every single juncture. Every time they try to instigate race, His Excellency the President and the Cabinet continue to pour cold water on that. They did the same thing in Monrepo, protesting the untimely death of young Quentin Bacchus in Golden Grove. And Sherrod Duncan, I can call their names. Sherrod Duncan and Travis Chase and the others went into the village of Golden Grove and instigate people with criminal intentions to go into Monrepo and to rob Indo-Guyanese. And you telling me that the PNC, APNU, AFC, WPA, whatever political party believes in one Guyana? Maybe it is for this reason. Maybe, just maybe, it is for this reason that David Granger refused to lend support to this political party that he once led not so long ago. Maybe it's for this reason that a vast majority of their supporters, of their leaders, who formed part of the government in 2015, refused to come out in support of this political party. Just maybe. I believe with all my heart that even David Granger knows that Aubrey Norton is a danger to our social cohesion and and the unity that we enjoy in Guyana. And it is for that reason that David Granger refused to allow Aubrey Norton to play any meaningful role in the PNC while they were in power. We'll take our first call. Caller, good evening. You're live. This is the Diaspora Connected.
Good evening, my friend. How are you?
Blessed and highly favored.
Okay, nice to hear. Always enjoy show. But by the way, let me get down into things.
Yes.
As of recently, I would have heard the concocted trash that Mr. Norton deliver at the supposed in Golden Grove. He even went on to give a reason why he did not shake the president's hand. And more so, it is amazing to see how the word apartheid is inappropriately used, my friend. And I know, Mr. Rogers, I know you have very rich knowledge and history more so. I'm absolutely sure you are familiar with what the system of apartheid war or was in South Africa.
Right.
And if they want to use the word apartheid to describe their own self-concocted hysteria, I think they need to use another word than apartheid. Because apartheid do not resonate, or a better word to use, identify itself in the Guyanese society.
Right.
Because if we had an apartheid state, or it is an emerging apartheid state, according to these circus clown in the opposition, then I think we would have had schools only for Amerindians, schools only for Indians, and school only for Black. Isn't that so, my
Right.
friend?
Yes, sir.
Because in apartheid South Africa,
We don't
You
want to
had
go over this again, my brother.
black-only schools.
Respectfully, I spoke in detail about what apartheid is, and our people know it, so we don't want to go over it again. We do understand what transpired
about
in
that.
South Africa.
Sorry. My apologies.
No, that's fine.
But, but I think Mr. Norton is doing a great job of the PPP's re-election in 2025.
I like that one.
Because-
That's your last word.
Every single day, he continue with his rants, with his trash, with his sermon, which has no realistic or tangible realistic base to it. And you want to know if these people,
Brother,
I
have to,
back in the
I have
days,
to
they
cut
say when
you
you're too
because
bright.
listen,
Okay,
I have to
enjoy your
cut
night,
you.
man. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah, enjoy
like I said to you guys before, we gotta keep it short so we can get it in as much colors as we
Okay.
want. But the caller did touch on
But
did
like
touch
I'm
on-
saying, the PPP 2025 re-elected.
All right, thank you
Enjoy
very
your
much.
night.
Thank you very much. That's why there is that hashtag out there, 45 and 25. And if you need an explanation for what that means, it means that Irfan Ali would win re-election with 45 seats in 2025, and we're working on that because Irfan Ali has demonstrated to every single Guyanese in Guyana and outside of Guyana, the millions of us. Yes, there are millions of Guyanese. And Irfan Ali has demonstrated to the millions of Guyanese that he is the leader for this time. He is the leader for this time. He is the leader that's going to hold the fabric of our country together while the opposition, Aubrey Norton and his band of clowns, continue to try to tear us apart. And the Guyanese people will, one by one, the naysayers would recognize and realize that Irfan Ali is Guyana. Irfan Ali is for Guyana, full stop. And his leadership is so inspiring that every single country that he goes to, and the invitations to go to those countries are tremendous. And every single country that he goes to, he is accorded royal treatment. This is because of the type of leadership that he provides to the country. And any one of you who want to challenge me on that, you can go right ahead. Because we all know We all know. We all know that wherever he goes, people are inspired by his leadership. We got another caller. Caller, good evening. This is the Diaspora Connected.
Yes, good evening, Mr. OC. How are you doing, sir?
Blessed and highly favored.
Thank you for that. The thing is that I love your live at the ground with our ministers from Guyana. That was
Thank you.
lovely. And the next thing I want to tell you, if you could do something about this, why do we taxpayers continue to pay the opposition? Remember, they're getting taxpayers' money. They're getting a budget. And what sense does that make? Are they relevant in anything, in any way? Do they do anything for the Guyanese population?
Well,
We need to
well,
look at that.
sir,
We need to look at that.
the Constitution mandates that.
No, man.
And
One second. Stick a pin. Stick a pin. Sorry to disturb
mhm.
you. Our constitution does not tolerate nonsense and stupidity. Come on. Let's be honest. Come on. Look at the words that are coming out from these people's mouth.
Yeah, I
And you are
agree with
telling
you.
me that our constitution mandates that? No, man.
It actually
Something is
does.
wrong. Something is wrong with the constitution. If it's allowed people to come and speak instead of nonsense, something is definitely wrong with our constitution.
Well, the Constitution does not dictate who speak and say what. The Constitution dictates that there should be an opposition, and an opposition should nominate members to the National Assembly to hold those seats which they want. Here, what we can do though, we can ensure that when the time comes, we expel them from the National Assembly. And then we
With,
don't have to give them taxpayers' money. We expel them from the National Assembly based on ballots, based on your
yeah,
votes.
agree
And
with
we
you.
can do it.
Agree with you,
Every
sir.
single one of us can teach one and go into these communities and go into these villages and show them why it is dangerous to elect the PNC. It is dangerous to vote for a PNC candidate. It is
I understand
dangerous
what
to
you're
allow
saying.
the PNC to come anywhere close to power. We can do it collectively together. Are you with me on this? Can we do
Yes,
it?
I agree with you. I agree with you, sir. I agree with you. We could do that. We could do that. We could work on that.
All right.
Have a good night, sir.
Good night. Have a good night to you too. All right. So our telephone number is on the screen. If you want to call us, we look forward to taking your call. And of course, yeah. So this is the Diaspora Connected. Someone wanted me to give an explanation again on they screenshot something about from Amanzo Walton Nazir's Facebook page, and they had asked me to give an explanation on why Amanzo Walton Nazir has put out on her page that she is the shadow minister of foreign affairs. Well, it's not only Amanzo Walton Nazir. There are many others. Ganesh Mahipal puts that he's a shadow minister on his page as his official portfolio, that he's the shadow minister of local government. We have what's her name? Jarita Finance. She put that she's the shadow. By the way, what happened to her? Because I noticed that they're not allowing her to speak on financial issues anymore. She's not making making statements as it relates to financial issues anymore. They have this Edison Low boy. Remember the boy I tell you about that? Let's say Bar Jack. You need to stay away from close to the oil reserves. Y'all remember that? You don't look too well. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to offend anybody, but you look like you well put together, Mr. Edison Lowe. But I mean, we can work on him. You know what I mean? But he's now the one who's speaking on financial matters on the behalf of the PNC. So like Jarita, they don't throw she in a corner already, because you know she she needs a little bit more training, and she needs to understand financial issues more, because before she can go up. I'm being generous here tonight. I'm being respectful. I'm being generous, but she ain't ready yet. So they bring Edison Low. They went from dumb to dumber. Anyway, we got this low now, and he's making big statements, stuff like that. But we were talking about them using this shadow minister. They're so obsessed with political power. They so want the minister to be attached to their names that they're using this. Have you ever seen when the PPP was in opposition, any person in the PPP used that as their official portfolio? In opposition, Priya Manik Chan was the shadow minister of education. I've never seen Priya Manik Chan put that up as her official portfolio. Frank Anthony was the shadow minister of health. I've never seen him put that up either as his official portfolio. As a matter of fact, in the National Assembly, rightfully so, Bar Jagdeo was elected opposition leader, and he had that up on his thingy. But that is parliamentary language, ladies and gentlemen. If you speak in Parliament, and you are the person who shadows the Minister of Foreign Affairs, for example, you are considered the shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs in Parliament only. And when reporters are reporting the news, they use that to give to show that you are the identified person to speak on foreign affairs, for example. So Amanza Walton Nazir has been identified by her political party as the foreign affairs shadow minister. But that is only for Parliament. But these people are so obsessed with power. They so want to use the minister next to their name that they're using this as Amanza. That is not your official designation. Your official designation is Amanza Walton Desir, opposition member of Parliament, full stop. That is your official designation, Amanza. So y'all need to stop this nonsense. Y'all all excited to use the ministers, use minister before your name that you put on that you shadow minister. And you would know what? You're gonna be shadow minister. Well, you guys, a lot of you guys not returning to Parliament in 2025 anyway. But whoever represents the PNC, if after 2025 and after 2030 and after 2030, will still be using shadow minister because that's where you belong, in the opposition. And one by one, the Guyanese are going to remove you from the opposition also because you do not provide the type of leadership. You do not provide the type of leadership. You lack the ability to critique the PPP civic government. That is why you pander to race, because you cannot critique the finance minister on financial issues. You cannot critique the home affairs minister on home affairs issues, on issues that affect our security. You cannot critique the minister of foreign affairs on issues that relates to foreign affairs. You cannot critique the Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport on issues that relates to culture, youth and sport because you lack research. That's why all you do is pander to race. You continue to pander to race because that's all you can do. Talk about black people. That's all you talk about. And when the People's Progressive Party civic representatives raise issue with you guys, then it becomes a personal attack. It becomes a personal attack. When people want to come out and start to have meaningful debates with you, you talk about who's our slave, and who's this, and who's that, and who this, and who that. As though all of you guys were just fall from heaven. As a matter of fact, they are using, they of course, being the copycats that they are, they copy things that they see on television. So one of the big issues a few weeks ago, the U.S. Congress and U.S. government and U.S. president were speaking about canceling student debt. Up on their social media pages and at their press conference and on their platforms, we will cancel student debt. They watch television. They hear about somebody speaking about terrorism. They hijack that and they use it too. They talk about terrorism. One of them said that the PPP is a terrorist organization. Well, mister, there's no one in the PPP that was ever charged by a US or any government outside, or any government for that matter of fact, for terrorism. But I can tell you of one of your former member of parliament, one of your former mayor of Linden, one of your former supporter, Abdul Qadir, who was charged here in the United States for terrorist activities. Yes, he was attached to the PNC. Yes, he was. He was a member of parliament for the PNC, and he was a mayor of Linden, and he was always a member of the PNC. And he was the only Guyanese ever in the history of Guyana charged for terrorist offenses here in the United States. And which party did he belong to? The PNC. Yes. I could point more. The new talk now is Jim Crow. Comrade Ramjatan talk about Jim Crow. I made some notes. I want to tell you all about Jim Crow. Jim Crow, what Comrade Ramjatan is talking about, he said he's seeing Jim Crow in Guyana. Well, we know when Comrade Ramjatan talks about seeing things, first of all, we don't even know if he's really see straight. That's the first thing. You understand me? And it was Comrade Ramjatan who saw. It was Comrade Ramjatan who saw Russians. You remember that? Comrade Ramjatan is the only person who saw Russians. So when Comrade Ramjatan tell you seeing things, you gotta be careful. So now Comrade Ramjatan is seeing Jim Crow in Guyana. What a load of buffoonery. Jim Crow, let me get to it for you. Jim Crow, let me tell you the origin of Jim Crow first. So Jim Crow came from a song, Jump Jim Crow. And a dance routine originated in 1828. You hear how long? And the whole thing was by a comedian by the name of T.D. Daddy Rice. White comedian, used to paint his face in black, and he used to he painted his face in black and used to make mockery of the slaves. And because he was a comedian, that was for laughs. All right? And then it was enacted into the laws here in the United States, especially in the southern states, where they passed a black code. And there was segregation here in the United States, in the southern states. Segregation, that's what Jim Crow was. Right? Everything was segregated by law. Everything was segregated by law. That's what Jim Crow is. Schools were segregated. Libraries were segregated. Blacks and whites, people of color and whites could not travel on the same train cars. People of color and whites could not sit down at the same place in the library. Could not go to the same schools. Every single thing was segregated by law. I want you to tell me, where in Guyana do you see any segregation where blacks are not allowed? People of color. Because people of color means anyone who is not white. Where in Guyana are you seeing people of color not allowed to sit next to a white man or use a bathroom that a white man used or anything like that? As a matter of fact, the only time that a white man had so much power in our country, Guyana, the only time that there was some degree of segregation in our country is when the PNC gave an island in the Essequibo Coast to Jim Jones. That's the only time we had that bit of segregation. And we remember that also led to terrorism. So we tying it right back to the feet of the PNC. It was the PNC. Any degree of segregation in Guyana was only when the PNC was in power. Because Jim Jones, a white man, came to our country. He was given a special piece of land on the Essequibo to go there and to practice his evil craft. And we all know what happened. Hundreds of people lost their life there. That is at the feet of the PNC. So the only time that we had anything close to segregation, anything close to Jim Crow, where a white man owned a special plot of land in Guyana and people of color were segregated from going there, thankfully, it was Jim Jones. And it was the PNC that gave that plot of land to that evil man. Those are the facts. It was the PNC that allowed Jim Jones to come to our country and and was able to kill so many people. Yes, it was the PNC. So, Comrade Ramjatan, when you're talking about Jim Crow, you have to remember Jim Jones. And when you're talking about Jim Crow and remembering Jim Jones, you have to remember that it's the political party that you now speak on the behalf that is responsible for bringing this person to our shores to commit such atrocities. Our telephone lines are open. I want to continue to talk about this whole Jim Crow stuff. Because since Comrade Ramjatan, we need to check our internet. I don't know if someone's saying that we may have lost. We are still connected. All right, so yeah, so back to Jim Crow and Comrade Ramjatan. I cannot believe that Comrade Ramjatan allowed this political party that he now supports to bring him down to this level. He saw Russians. Now he's seeing Jim Crow. His colleagues in the opposition are seeing apartheid. Well, we all know what the PNC sees. The PNC is seeing apartheid in Guyana. We all know what the PNC sees, the world does not see. Because the PNC was the only group in the entire world that saw that the PNC, APNU, AFC won the 2020 elections. They were the only ones. So, when they see things, you got to be careful what they see. They also went into the gardens where Forbes Barnum, it's alleged that his remains lie at the 7 Ponds in the gardens. Well, we don't even know about that too. That's just to show how deceitful and deceptive this political party is that want to run your country. We don't even know if Fosborn body. They remember that story too. They want us to forget all those stories when they trick you and they lie to you and all kind of things. The body gone, the body buried, anybody dig up and the body gone to overseas to be embalmed and anybody come back. All kind of confusing stories. So we don't even know if Barnum. But anyway, they went there during the elections time to see Fosborn so he can help them to win elections. So we know when the PNC say they see things, you mustn't take them too serious. Because what the PNC sees is not what the world sees. What Comrade Ramjatan sees is not what the world sees. Aubrey Norton is also seeing things. Of course, he's the leader of the PNC, so collectively they see together. So Aubrey Norton went a few days ago, and he's seeing things too, of course. So now, I can tell you what Aubrey Norton see just now. Let me take a call. Caller, good evening. This is Diaspora Connected.
Hey, good night, JC. Hey, good night,
What's up?
OC.
Good night.
What's up, man?
I'm
I
good.
was listening to Freddie Kissoon show one night, and Freddie Kissoon and that guy Keith Nacimento, he mentioned that Borna wasn't a racist man, right? Yeah, Borna wasn't a racist man, but he never built one scheme for an Indian community.
He never built what?
One scheme, one housing scheme for the Indian
Oh,
people.
in Indian communities, I have to research that.
Yes, he never built one, not even one single one. And I was a little boy growing up in Kanji when they had the election. They start from Gangram coming out, and when we could run behind those van with the ballot, the soldiers started to shoot, and they end up shooting one their own people, and they blame other people for that. So
Okay.
when the Ranjatan was talking, but he got to see straight. I guess you buy your glasses somewhere else. your spectacle, I guess you buy it your glasses. You buy it in a separate place. I hope so.
No,
I guess
me Ramjatan didn't get we glasses same place.
no. You better hard get a good glasses.
Have a good night, sir.
You too, buddy. All right.
All right, take care. Yeah. Master Ramjatan lacked the ability to see straight. Anyway, so Aubrey Norton is seeing things once again. And one of the things that Aubrey Norton saw is pointing out that the PPP is racist. And one of the issues that he used to show that the PPP is racist, Aubrey Norton said that the PPP government went to Mocha. By the way, before I go any further, I'm asking this question for a friend. Is it a requirement for membership in the PNC that you must not be able to pronounce words beginning with the letter H? Because they brought a new lady out today at their press conference and it's the same thing. Aus, Om, Op. So I'm wondering if it's a requirement for membership in the PNC. Anyway, what's up, Darren Wade? I know you're watching. I hope you're doing good. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, y'all like craziness, no? Aubrey Norton is now seeing. He's now pointing out PPP racism as it relates to housing. So he said the PPP went to Mocha, and the PPP, they were all black families squat. Well, even they use the word squatting, but that's what they're doing. If you take land illegally and you live on it, you're squatting. And the PPP went and they're removing families from these lands. They're removing people from these lands. The PPP said to these people, according to Aubrey Norton, if you don't move, we'll bulldoze you down. And he also said that the president went to Pigeon Island and the president spoke about regularizing Pigeon Island. Now, first of all, it's like comparing guava to coconut. You know, we like to use apples and grapes, but we don't have that in Guyana. We're speaking to Guyanese audience. It's comparing guava to coconut. Because in Pigeon Island is an established community on the east coast of Demerara that been there since donkey years. As a matter of fact, I heard Pigeon Island, people started settling there since in the 70s. In the early 70s. Mocha, people recently started squatting there. And anybody can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, only if you come out from under a rock, you do not know of the PPP housing initiative and infrastructure drive to develop the East Bank corridor. That whole entire East Bank, there is an active drive to develop that corridor. And 16 families are squatting direct in the path of where the road is supposed to go in Mocha. The highway. To improve your life, to improve our lives, to improve or tourism product to improve everything in Guyana. People come from the airport, they must be able to drive on a superhighway from the airport to the city, to the East Coast, onto Barbies, onto Suriname, or wherever you're going. And we all know that the East Bank Public Road is no longer a suitable highway for the level of traffic we're seeing now traversing the East Bank. However, they have an issue with that. 16 families out of the squatters there now have to move their homes because they're squatting directly where the road is going to run. I'll take a caller and then I'll come back and I'll continue with this. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hi, good evening. Did you hear what Avi Norton said the other night at Grove, that the PPP would call election before the 25 years? Before 2025?
Again, Avi Norton see things that the rest of the world don't see.
This guy is crazy, that's all I could say.
That's all I can say too. I mean, crazy is putting it mildly. But that type of insanity cannot be considered as crazy. You gotta go up a few notches.
He said that how the PPP is giving away free money, and he sees by giving away the free money, they have the support now, so they will call all the election that he has to start campaign.
The PPP always had the support even before they gave away free money. So the PPP won elections in 2020. They didn't have money to give away then. So that logic that Aubrey Norton is using again, you know,
yes,
it's a retard. So what do you expect? I mean,
there are so many things to say about them. It's crazy. All right, sir, you're doing a good job. Keep it up. Good night.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
All right.
Yeah. So there are 16 families, 16 structures, that was directly squatting on the road where the road is supposed to pass, and rightfully so. Those 16 owners of those 16 structures should not be allowed to interrupt or infrastructure advancement. So they have to move. First of all, you need to remember, that squatting is illegal. So you're supposed to do it anyway. But this government, being the caring government that it is, Air Finale being the big heart, using the big heart that he has, decided that they're going to give these people who are squatting on this land no electricity, no water supply, no roads, no nothing. They were given house lot to go into communities that are already established with electricity supply, water, roads, and everything. And they were given house lots. And we already know the initiative of the government to get the banks and stuff to reduce the interest rate to make housing more affordable and accessible to more Guyanese, regardless of race. But this buffoon that you have as an opposition leader is trying to turn that stuff into race. Now, Pigeon Island was there since in the 70s. And apparently the lands are not regularized. But you see what he did, what he's trying to do there. Pigeon Island, predominantly Indo-Guyanese. The recently squatting people in Mocha, predominantly Afro-Guyanese. So this clown is turning this thing into a racist thing. And trying to make it look like a racist. Completely ignoring the fact that while the government say you need to move those structures, and by the way, Aubrey Norton and his party is going there to tell those people to resist that, even though they know squatting is illegal. Even though they know people are squatting there, the people are occupying those lands illegal. Even though they know that those people are living in the worst situation ever. No proper no drainage at all. No electricity, no running water, nothing. They live there like bums in the shanty town. And before Aubrey Norton encouraged these people to get a proper house lot and improve your life and improve your living standards, he goes there and tell the people that they should not move from there. The same black people that he claimed that he loved and cared about so much. But anyway, here is the long and short of the story. The PPP gave them house lots in regularized communities. So when they go there, they already have everything. Electricity ready to be connected once they start building. Water ready to be connected once they start building. Internet access, and every single thing is there. But that's the modus operandi of the PNC, is to always keep the blacks suppressed, always keep the blacks in poverty, so that they can gravitate once the PVP is in power, so that the blacks can gravitate to them and they can tell them that, listen, we're looking out for you, man. We're very sorry you're poor, and we're gonna do this for you, and we're gonna do that for you when we get into power. Well, you got into power in 2015, and what have you done for black people except your friends and family? What have you done? Show me the communities that you've regularized. Show me the black families that were lifted out of poverty based on initiative put forward by the APNU AFC government. Show us the evidence. Show us the facts. As a matter of fact, every single time the PNC is in power, there's an exodus of Guyanese running from Guyana. As a matter of fact, remember when the backtrack business flourished in Guyana? Remember when Indians were driven out of Guyana in droves and they went to Canada and seek refugee status? It was under the PNC. That sounds a little bit more like apartheid and segregation to me. By droves, Indians were running away from Guyana and showing up at immigration offices in Canada and seeking refugee status because they were afraid for their lives and they were run away from their homeland, Guyana. Now they're running back. Everybody will go back. I can't tell you about the amount of calls I get about people seeking, I want to know how I can take back my wife to Guyana. She's not Guyanese. I want to make my wife a Guyanese. I want to make my children a Guyanese. I want to take back my children. I want to get a piece of land. I want to go back. I can't tell you about the amount of calls. As a matter of fact, I'm going to close with this. Let's not go to the long history when Guyanese were fleeing to Venezuela and Suriname and Barbados and Trinidad. Anywhere they could run and go. Anywhere except Guyana, Guyanese were running every time the PNC was in power. And that ended in 1992. Guyanese started talking about coming back home in 1992 once Chedi Jagan became president. Come 2015, bump, it happened again. As a matter of fact, check it for yourself. U.S. immigration became generous and start doling out visitors' visa when the PPP was in power. Everybody get a visa. Even Auntie and Shadanki get a visa. Everybody got a visa to come to the United States. That is because the U.S. government knows that with the level of security and the level of Guyana's economy and everything else, people are less inclined to come and overstay their visas in the United States. So they open up the system and give almost everybody a visa to come to the United States. In 2015, they stop it. They put on more controls because the PNC was back in power and people were fleeing Guyana again. Those are the facts. You can check it for yourself. Those are the facts. Now, I can't tell you the amount of calls I'm getting from people wanting to go back to Guyana, wanting to get a piece of Guyana, wanting to inquire about what is going on in Guyana so that they can play a role in Guyana. Because of the confidence that the Guyanese in the diaspora now have in their leadership of their country. Because of the welcoming and open environment, safe, peaceful, tranquil environment that now prevails over the land because the PNC is no longer in power. So people want to go back. So many people talking about going back. But that's my time, ladies and gentlemen. If you notice, I'm on fire. I was having a good time. I was enjoying this. And I can go for another hour. Because I'm pumped up and ready to go. Last thing, I could do one more thing. My technical guys are generous to let us do one more thing. Listen, Minister Kwame McCoy, happy birthday to you, by the way, Minister McCoy. Thank you for all that you do to serve our Guyanese people. Minister Kwame McCoy and Minister Onage Waldron came to the United States over the weekend, and we went to Brooklyn to celebrate a folk festival in Brooklyn. Everybody showed up. I mean, lots of people showed up. You know who was not there? The big bagged rice eater. Barking, 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 who cannot come and who could come to Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is who territory and who not. The rice eater refused. I was looking forward to meeting the rice eater. I was looking forward to confronting him. I was looking forward for him to see the reception that our ministers receive in Brooklyn. But of course, again, roof, 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 roof. Barking dogs seldom bite. The rice eater, Rickford Burke, was a no-show again in Brooklyn. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have. I want to say thank you very much to those of you who have joined us, those of you who shared our video, those of you who have interacted with us, those of you who attempted to call and didn't get through, those of you who called, those of you who made comments, those of you who made comments on the show. Thank you very much to every one of you. Thank you to our folks over there at the Guyanese Critic and Daybreak News platform. Thank you to our folks here at Sky TV. And thank you to you, the listeners and the viewers. You guys have certainly been the wind beneath our sail. We could not have done this without you. I appreciate every one of you. Let us continue to live in peace and harmony. Let us respect our brothers. And let us reject the naysayers and those that seek to divide us. We remain one Guyana. We remain one Guyana, whether we're in Guyana or outside of Guyana. On behalf of my technical staff, I am Ossie Rodgers, wishing you a very good night and see you again on Thursday. Goodbye.
We are one Guyana, a place of peace, a place of love. We are one Guyana, it's paradise, it's our world.
Love and people in harmony.